New Day against Otis and Akira Tozawa. So after this wonderful promo aired, Woods and Kofi, they can't argue over who's going to start. Kofi's in the ring, so Woods immediately tags himself in and gets, because of the wasted time, Otis runs them over, hits a caterpillar on Kofi, and then Tozawa comes off the top with his big senton and pins Woods in a minute 7. And this is...
The fact that it was Tozawa getting the pin is
You
perfect.
had to make this the most humiliating loss. A 60-second loss to Tozawa.
Yeah.
Like, you had to do it to necessitate what was to come.
The lowest rung guy on the active, like, Raw roster getting, like, as far as I remember, like, the only pin, like, how often, like, when was the last time Akira Tozawa got a pinfall?
I think someone said Otis hasn't had a win since, like, last year on NXT or something like that. At least on television or something. Double check that. But what we got after this.
Highlight of the show.
They're arguing as they leave the ring. And they're just walking to the back, and you think this is just their normal argument, and then we'll cut to the next scene. No, the camera follows them to the back. This would have driven Tony Khan insane. And Wood starts yelling at Kofi, telling him, run the damn play. You just can't listen. You think you're bigger than everyone else. And we follow them, and now Woods is turning up the volume. He says, you're wrestling like garbage, Kofi. Kingston explains, I've been helping you. I gave you my Intercontinental title shot, and you fumbled the title shot. You fumbled the crown. There's a reason that me and E never let you call the plays. You're too reckless, and you take unnecessary risks. Wood says, I remember when you were too terrified to take any risks and could never get a world title shot until I came along and took those risks for you. I'm the reason you became champion. Oh, really? I was a Hall of Famer before I even met you. That's why you asked me to be part of this group. You still haven't won a singles title. And you know why you haven't won a singles title, Woods? Because you're not good enough. And it's not my fault. Woods explains, I was good enough to fight for you. I was good enough to fight your battles. Me and Big E helped create Kofi Mania. We handed it to you on a platter, and you pissed it away in 6 seconds, losing to Brock Lesnar. And Kofi is fuming. Like, we have never seen Kofi in this state before. Explaining, if you were anybody else, and then he ends it, I'll see you at the reunion, brother. And Woods, if this was on purpose, I thought this was like the most scathing correction. I'll see you at the anniversary. And as
can't even remember your lines, right?
Oh man, this was like this was just a dig right at the end, and Kofi walks off. One of the best segments these two have ever been part of. This was excellent. I thought these two were so great. And I mean, listen, I was a little critical of this feud. It's been a long road to this, but man, was this moment. This would have been so flat if this had come like 3 weeks into these arguments. You know what I mean? It just would have felt, it would not have felt authentic, because nobody buys these two as hating each other, but they built it and they put everything into this segment. I just thought this set the stage for something big next Monday for the segment. And
something big. I see what you did there.
Well, yes, I think for sure you need to see him there, but I think to your audience, it's like
Kofi let it slip. It's a reunion happening.
He kind of did let everyone in on that. But yeah, I think regardless of what you think the outcome is going to be, you know it's going to be something significant. That this whole angle has been leading towards this anniversary.
Yeah. By the end of this segment, this felt like it was a breakup moment 10 years in the making. So you knew it had to be good, and it was. They completely delivered on that. The lines that they had for each other were deep cutting, man, like deeper than I thought that they would get, in the body of this particular feud. And by the end, I would say, like, this was, you never want to see your friends fight, but like I also feel like this was one of those like arguments that was kind of cathartic, because the tension had been so well built and so pent up throughout months, it feels like at this point. So in this segment though, it's like they went a lot deeper than I was expecting, because they weren't just talking about the recent months and weeks of, you know, this sort of like Woods being the quarterback type of storyline. They were at least telling us that their tensions started way before that. You know, it was like Kofi revealing that he and E never saw Woods as a leader because he was making a lot of unnecessary risky decisions. It was Woods feeling like Kofi doesn't take enough risks, and how Woods, I guess, risk taking, which I never necessarily thought was like a character trait of his, but okay, like I'll accept it. But it's Woods feeling like Kofi not taking enough risks was the reason why, you know, he was so unsuccessful until Kofi Mania. And then it just continues to escalate. It's Kofi telling Woods that he's not good enough. It's Woods telling Kofi that he's responsible for Kofi Mania. And to top it all off with the Brock Lesnar line, they haven't. Kofi Kingston did not sell that Brock Lesnar loss for 5 years. And they waited at least for this moment to finally acknowledge it. And you can tell, like, from Kofi's perspective, just the mention of that line was probably enough to really kind of set him off. So, not to mention the fact that, like, mentioning Lesnar at this moment is still a little bit taboo. So it got a bit of a reaction, I'm sure, for that reason as well. The passion, though, from these two in the segment, I think was just amazing. And it showed you how strong of a performer both of them are in these sort of talking segments in the back. And it's just begging for Big E to come back to hopefully play Peacemaker. That pop is going to be huge. So the question is, can he make peace, or will he cement the breakup?
Yeah, I mean, they really set this up for next week to be like this should probably be the main event segment on the show for what it feels like the show should be structured around. And I mean, the outline of this show, that you could have all the big moments airing throughout the night, and like you're going to have your audience like in this state to do something like if you do this breakup, I think it could be so well executed next week. If they do it right. And this certainly gave you that confidence that they're that they can pull this off in a really effective way. Yeah.
And do you think if they, at the end of this, don't break up, that the audience will, like, I think the audience will react well to them not breaking up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily think everybody wants these two to have a feud with each other.
I think especially after this segment, it will almost feel as though we're dipping our toe into like the most interesting Xavier Woods and Kofi have been in so long that to take it away would almost feel like it's not exploring an evolution for these characters. They did so great in this lead up, and tonight that would almost feel like they are. It's just like you're not advancing the story if you have the happy reunion type of story.
Because in the end, if they get back together, what are they going to go for? Another tag team title? They've told that story enough, you know, and it's just not as interesting as both of them feuding with each other, and then maybe eventually one of them going for a singles championship. If you like this video, consider joining our Patreon, the Post Wrestling Cafe. Multiple bonus podcasts every week, ad-free shows, and access to our full archive. Otherwise, a like and subscribe is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.